Chef Jeremy here. I'm the food service director at Shorecrest Prep School in St. Petersburg, Florida. We are making how-to videos on some of our favorite siege recipes. I'm specifically going to focus on our golden baked beef and cheddar mac. Preheat your oven to 350, and then we are going to do something that we call in the culinary world mise en place. Now this is French origin, and what it means is everything in its place. So as you can see, I've pulled all the equipment, all the ingredients that we're going to need, and placed them out on the counter. First thing we're going to do is cut up our garlic and onions. We're going to want to mince this, which is just cut it as small as possible. Now that our knife work's done, we'll start cooking. Now we have our onions and garlic. We have a pot here on the stovetop, medium-high heat. Add a little oil to the pan, and then your onions and peppers. Now we're going to sweat these, which just means cook them till they're translucent. Then we're just going to brown the ground beef. Now that the beef is browned all the way through, you can tell there's some grease at the bottom. We're going to strain this off and get the grease out. Now that the beef is done, we're going to tackle the cheese sauce. So first we're going to melt our butter down into the pan. Then we're going to add our flour. We're going to mix this up and make what we call a roux. It's R-O-U-X. Once the roux is cooked for a minute or two, then we're going to add the milk. Then you're going to bring the milk to a boil. You want to pretty much continuously stir it so it doesn't burn or stick to the bottom. As it heats up, you'll see the roux start to dissolve and the milk start to thicken. Now that the milk is boiling and getting thicker, we'll turn the temperature down to like a low, halfway between low and medium, and let it simmer. Now as it's simmering and still, you want to keep stirring, and you'll see the little pellets of roux start to dissolve and the milk will get thicker and thicker. And just judge for yourself if you think it's milky or if it needs more cheese. It definitely needs more cheese, so I'll probably go ahead and empty out this whole bag. Alright, so then once the cheese is in there, we'll continue to let it simmer. As I said, 3 to 5 minutes, just to cook out all that taste, because when you taste it, you'll taste a hint of flour. So you really want to let it simmer and let that flour taste cook out of the sauce. Now the cheese sauce is done. I'll try it again just to make sure. It's very good. The recipe calls for salt and white pepper to be in the cheese sauce. Now this is, again, a preference thing. There's a lot of things you can do with cheese sauce. If you like spice, you can add a little cayenne or some jalapenos to make it spicy. You can add the salt and black pepper if you feel like it needs it. Or white pepper will prevent it from having little black dots floating in. It'll give it more of that creamy cheese sauce look that we're used to. Now with the beef, there's one more thing we want to do. First of all, we want to season it. So we have our salt and pepper. Add salt, add some pepper, and you'll want to go ahead and taste it. Make sure It tastes how you want it to. And then we're going to add the tomatoes. So, as I got before, we got a can. Now, before we mix everything together, we want to make our breadcrumb topping. How we do this is we take some of our salted butter, and you want to let this get to room temperature, let it sit out and soften. All right, then you're going to mix it up. Now what this butter is going to do in these breadcrumbs, it's going to allow the breadcrumbs to kind of get golden brown without burning. Give it a taste. Just see if we think it needs any salt or pepper. I think it does, but I traditionally use a lot of salt. Something that they beat into me in culinary school was how to properly season everything. So you don't have to put as much as I'm putting, because it's just how I like it. All right. And once you have it in your baking pan, just kind of spread it out, fill up the whole pan, make it even. So now we're at the end. Pull it out of the oven. For those less experienced folks, if you need to know when to pull it out, it's really, you're going to get a nice golden brown color like that. And then your temperature, if you use a thermometer, take a temperature, make sure it's safe to eat. Anything like this that's mixed together, where you have multiple ingredients, or if you're reheating something, you always want to make sure it's up to at least 165 degrees Fahrenheit. And there we have it. A nice, beautiful, golden baked beef and cheddar mac. And again, my name is Chef Jeremy. Thank you for taking this time with me. Hopefully, if you make this at home, you enjoy it, your family enjoys it, and everybody stay safe and stay home.